Hello, this is Pete the Tech Guy, and it's been a long time since I've done an overtly political video on the site. I've still been doing a lot of very nice interviews. I've got a great follow-up to one of my interviews with immigrants videos and some other very great videos that I'd hope you check out. But I don't think since the day YouTube banned me, and I was obviously brought back when they admitted that they were playing games with the Biden administration, since then, I have not done an overtly political podcast or little video or anything in a while. But the situation is so interesting, and the point I want to make so big, that I'm making this short video concerning the situation in Maine. Now, unless you've been hiding under a rock for a while, you know that in Maine, there's a fellow by the name of Platner who is running for the nomination. Now, no, I want to point out, he has not yet been nominated by the Democratic Party to run against Susan Collins, the single most moderate Republican and the only Republican left in Congress. Remember, the Senate is part of Congress, for those of you who think, oh, he should have said the Senate. No, that's the Senate and the House together are Congress. And it goes to show how different things are. And I want to note that it started back, not with Bill Clinton, the Democrats excusing Bill Clinton, although we're seeing some of that defense of Platner now after the New York Times article, but it started with Barney Frank, who recently died. And I had some good things to say about Barney Frank because, first of all, you never say bad things when a person's just died. And secondly, whenever I questioned him or wanted to interview, he always gave me time, so I'll always give him credit for that, which was a good thing. But when they let him get away with the gay prostitute back in I believe it was the 80s, and Democrats decided that it was more important to keep Frank than to make the example, Frank and Studs at the time, that was the beginning of the end of the Democrats' principle type things. But I think it's very notable that the Democrat Party has waited till the World War II generation of my father has just about died out. There's less than 100,000 left. I think less than 50,000 actually. But I can't swear to the number off the top of my head. I know it's less than 100,000. To nominate a guy with a Nazi tattoo, and more importantly, a guy with the SS Tropimoff. And this is very ironic because for the last 7 years, people on YouTube have seen the meme from Mitchell and Webb, with our caps, they've got skulls on it. Are we the baddies? Video. I mean, that's been viewed millions of times, so everybody understands that the Democrats have to be asking themselves, are we the baddies? And that's not even talking about the stuff that the New York Times has brought up. And what's funny about the New York Times piece, it's more in defense of the candidate rather than damning him, so to speak. It's basically trying to run interference for the guy. But that's not what's amazing about this. That's not amazing. The hypocrisy of people who were going after Brett Kavanaugh, who are still calling Trump a pedophile with no evidence. And I think if it wasn't for the fact that there's so many of these sock puppets on X doing so, that he should try. If I'm Trump, I sue every single one of them. And maybe when he's out of office and has nothing else to do, he might do that. But the fact that that's not even the worst, the thing alone, and he's considered the candidate is amazing. I mean, there was a time, and Kurt Schlichter used to talk about, you won't like the new rules. There was a time when political parties were capable of finding a candidate for U.S. Senate that did not have a Nazi tattoo on their chest. That was not too high a hurdle for a party to reach. But apparently that's no longer the case with the Democrats. I mean, it's an amazing thing to see, and the defenses are an amazing thing to see, but that's not the most amazing thing about all of this. The most amazing thing about this, and this is what the topic of this video is, and it's going to be short, under 10 minutes, is that right now, the governor of the state of Maine is a Democrat by the name of Janet Mills. And Janet Mills is on the ballot as to be nominated for the Democrat candidacy to run for Senate. Now, she suspended her campaign but did not withdraw. So Democrats can still vote for Janet Mills. And I want you to run this thing through your head because nobody seems to be talking about this. The Democrat Party, given the choice of voting for the sitting governor, now this isn't an ex-governor, this is the currently sitting governor who has butted heads with Donald Trump. No one can say that Janet Mills is a friend of Donald Trump. She's had some very public clashes with him. The Democratic Party, given the choice of saying, you know what, this Platner guy he's got too much baggage, he's got the women's stuff, he's got the Nazi stuff, he's a phony in all these other ways. Given the choice between that guy, the Nazi guy, and the sitting governor of their own party, are not wholesale saying, we really should vote for the sitting governor. Why aren't Senate Democrats saying, I support Janet Mills for the primary? They don't even have to attack Platner. They can say, personally, I think Janet Mills did a great job as governor. I think she'd make a good senator. Why aren't Congress people saying, well, no, Janet Mills fought against Donald Trump. I think she'd fight against Donald Trump in the Senate. I think she'd make a good senator to face off against Susan Collins. Why aren't national people like on The View and stuff saying, Janet Mills represented the people of Maine, so she can represent the people of Maine just as good as Susan Collins, so I think we Democrats should vote for her. Nobody is saying that. Now, I'm going to embrace the power of and here. Glenn Reynolds often says, when the Democrats are doing so, is it stupid? Embrace the power of and. There are two ands here. And number one, the Democrats' base is so committed, and it's a violent base too. People are afraid to cross their violent base. Because while they might hate me as a conservative, if you cross them, they hate you more if you're a Democrat, because to them you're a traitor. Like a Muslim apostate, and we all know how that ends. It doesn't end well for traitors when you have a bunch of violent Antifa folks who are being paid to be violent Antifa folks. The Democrats are so afraid of alienating their violent communist Nazi base that has become their base that they got to stick with Platner, because if they walk away from it, that base might walk away too. But the other side of the coin is this. The and is, how bad a job must Janet Mills have done as governor? How much of a pit must Maine be now with her as governor that Democrats in the state where she's governor would rather have the Nazi? How bad must she have run that state into the ground that Democrats in the state think, I think we'd do better with the Nazi? How horrible a job must she have done that members of Congress, members of the media, Democrats all over the country say, I think we got a better shot with the Nazi because she just sucked. Think about how much of a bad pit job has been done in Maine, that's the case. No one seems to be talking about this, so I'm going to talk about it. I want you to think about that and then point at the Democrats and laugh, because that's what should be done. We should point at them and laugh at them. They decided to embrace a violent communist base, and now they get to have the fruits of it. So that's how it goes. Now, Susan Collins, I'm much more conservative than Susan Collins. I would prefer a person more conservative than Susan Collins, but we can't elect a person more conservative than Susan Collins in Maine. Not until we educate the Maine electorate to think, hey, this might be better for you. Until they figure that out, Susan Collins is the best we can get. And if nothing else, I think she's wrong on some big things, but she's generally wrong honest. I mean, I can handle people who are wrong honest. Because people who are wrong honest force you to think about what you're thinking of. But I want you to consider that. Every Republican who goes on TV and talks about this, every conservative should be saying, think about this. The Democrat governor sucks so bad that they'd rather vote for the Nazi. That should be the message. Now, 2 personal things. Personal thing number 1, I was going to talk about that I'm still looking for a job. I just literally before shooting this video got a possible potential offer. Hopefully it'll work out next week. I've got what might be the final interview Tuesday, so wish me luck there, pray for me there. And secondly, because of that, I'd like you, if you like this video, share it. I finally hit the 1,000 subscribers. They had kicked me off of YouTube when I was like 13 away. I'm not doing this as a business anymore, but I would like to monetize. If this video gets some looks, I would appreciate it. And finally, one final thing. The 3-year gap. All of my videos that I shot during the 3-year gap are on Rumble. I have a Rumble, the Tech Guy blog account on Rumble. I'm not moving those videos over. First of all, I'm lazy. Second of all, I believe that the agreement with Rumble does not allow it. And third of all, why the hell should YouTube get my videos that I shot when they wouldn't, during the time that they wouldn't let me in? There's great stuff from 3 Pentastics. There's stuff from this religious stuff as well. There's stuff from I went to the Total Con Confusion and interviewed a bunch of people. So check out my Rumble account and check out those videos, because I ain't bringing them to YouTube. YouTube doesn't deserve them. But for all of you who decided to watch this video, I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you think about it. This is Pete the Tech Guy saying goodbye and God bless. And just a reminder, I still host a Catholic radio show on WQPH. It's on Saturdays at noon, called Your Prayer Intentions, where we pray for people's prayer intentions. So if you have a prayer request, post it on the WQPH Prayer Wall website. That's WQPHradio.org. Go to the prayer wall, post your prayer request, and we'll be very happy to pray for it on the air. This is Pete the Tech Guy. Great to be talking to you about a little bit of politics now, and we will see you later.